folks? Welcome to another episode of Manager's Life. Today's video is going to be kind of a sad video. It's going to be about this lady in Arizona that was working for Wells Fargo that passed away, and no one found her for several days. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video real quick. That way you guys can get some context of what I'm getting ready to discuss. At least somewhat. So I'm going to play the video and then I will be right back.
A Wells Fargo employee went to work the morning of Friday, August 16th and never went home. Tempe police tell 12 News 60-year-old Denise Prudhomme scanned into work at 7 o'clock in the morning. 4 days later, police responded to the office building near Washington Street and Priest Drive for reports of a subject down. Prudhomme was declared dead. The Tempe Police Criminal Investigation Bureau is investigating, but do not suspect foul play. A Wells Fargo employee exclusively spoke with 12 News, but asked not to be recorded or identified out of fear for their job. They say a colleague found Prudhomme dead at her desk in a cubicle while walking around the building on Tuesday, August 20th. Prudhomme's cubicle was reportedly on the third floor and away from the main aisle. This employee says several people had smelled a foul odor, but passed it off as faulty plumbing. They say while most Wells Fargo employees at this Tempe location work remote, the building has 24/7 security, and someone should have found Prudhomme sooner. The incident left several employees feeling scared and uneasy. This employee wants to see new safety protocols in place, telling me, quote, "It's negligence in some part." A different worker also spoke with 12 News anonymously.
It was just uncomfortable.
Again, calling on the company to do more.
Body was there about 4 days before anybody found it, before anybody walked up to her and just to say hi, make sure she's okay. She was just laying on her desk.
A Wells Fargo spokesperson previously sent 12 News a statement saying, in part, "We are deeply saddened by the tragic loss of our colleague at our Tempe office," adding counselors through our employee assistance consulting service are available to support employees. An employee tells me their direct management offered those services, addressed the incident, and told workers the building was thoroughly cleaned.
Alright, you guys saw the video. Now here's my thing about that video. Although they stated that there is no foul play in that incident, maybe there really isn't. But number one, if they have 24-hour security, now I'm gonna be honest. Initially, when I first heard this story, I did suspect foul play, because I thought it was awfully peculiar for someone to be sitting at their desk unalived for several days before they were finally discovered. And the only reason why they were discovered was because there was a strong stench that came from that area, from the area where they were at. Now, they say there's no, as you guys heard, apparently they don't suspect any foul play, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's true or untrue. I mean, honestly, when I first heard the story, I was thinking that that lady may have upset someone, and maybe they put something in her drink or in her food, and she consumed it, and that's what happened. At first, I was suspecting that. And to be quite honest, a part of me still is suspecting that. But then they went on and stated that most of the people that work in her position work remote. And apparently she was upstairs and she was by herself, or I guess there wasn't too many people on that floor. So I guess she didn't really have a lot of interaction with other employees at Wells Fargo. Now, they did not specify what position that she had, because some positions you work, you're constantly communicating back and forth with other people within the company. But then there's other positions to where basically you just do a crap load of paperwork, and communication that you have with other people in the company is minimal. And then when it comes to the security situation, at first I was thinking, okay, well, how the heck did security miss not seeing that woman? And then I got to thinking, well, back in the day, I've held a number of security jobs myself. And when I was and sometimes when I was working security in places similar to Wells Fargo, I don't know how the lady that passed away, I don't know how the building was set up or any of that. But if her building was set up anything like some of the buildings that I used to work at were set up to where, you had a whole bunch of cubicles, but you really couldn't see inside that cubicle unless you walk right up on it. And a lot of times with security, typically what they do is they might go from floor to floor and they might do like a perimeter around that floor. And even if there's a space in the middle to where they can walk around, maybe they might do that as well. But if this woman that passed away, and by the way, rest in, uh, much condolences to her family. But if her cubicle was set up in a way to where you can't even see inside the inside of the cubicle unless you walk up on it, there is no way that the security at Wells Fargo would have been able to see her. Now, as far as the stench that they were talking about, and they were thinking it was bad plumbing, I don't know what to make of that. I can't really add to that. Another thing that I was thinking when I first heard this story was, how did other people who she worked with not know that she was deceased? I'm thinking, okay, did no one talk to her? Did you know? What I mean, did no one at any point not look for her and wonder what the heck is going on? Where the heck is she at? And then I got to thinking, okay, well, if she came into work at a day and a given time, she had to have punched the time clock. If she ain't punched out in several days, I'm thinking, okay, if she ain't punched out in several days, I would have thought one of the higher ups within the company, or at least within the office where she was working, would have been like, what's going on here? This employee punched in on Friday at 9 o'clock, we'll say, but here we are, a couple of days later, 3 or 4 days later, and she still ain't punched out yet. What's going on? And there's been no signs of this woman punching back in. What's going on? And then I got to thinking, well, maybe she's not an hourly employee. Maybe she's a salary employee. And if she's a salary employee, then that could be the reason why that no one detected her not ever leaving her job. Because if you're salary, typically you don't punch in or punch out. So those were my thoughts when this story first came out. Now this is what I want to add to the story. Now there's a lot now unfortunately we live in a society to where many of us we take our many of us tend to use our jobs as part of identifying who we are as a person. a lot of us tend to put way too much emphasis on job titles, how much you make. And maybe I'm doing a little bit of reaching on this video, but it is what it is. But another thing which I got out of this story, and I'm hoping you guys get out of this story as well, is none of us truly knows when that day is going to come to where you're going to be taking your very last breath. And my thing is, this story, I mean, the woman that passed away was only 60. And 60 in this day and age is not old. Now, this, I mean, as you guys saw, there was very little detail about the situation because they're still investigating the situation. I mean, but a few other questions that I have is: was she overweight? Did she have any health issues? Was she, was she, I mean, what was going on with her health? Because for all anyone knew, maybe she may have had a stroke or a heart attack, uh, and then she left the earth. I mean, no one knows how she passed on. And like I said, this stories like this just goes to remind me, and hopefully it should remind you guys as well, that life is way too short to be running around and working jobs that you don't like. Now, I'm not saying she liked or disliked her job at Wells Fargo. Maybe she loved the work she do. Hopefully she loved her work because she literally passed away doing it. So hopefully she at least enjoyed her work. What I'm saying is none of us never, I mean, uh, none of us knows exactly how long we're going to live on this earth. None of us knows when that day comes to where you'll take your very last breath. I mean, life is way too short to be, like I said, life is way too short to be working jobs that you don't like. There is way more to life than just earning X amount of money or having a certain job title. I mean, let's not get it messed up now. I mean, money is important. We all need it. But like I told you guys before, and I'll tell you guys again, I am not going to do a job. I'm not going to work a job that I don't like because of money. If a job is stressful and it pays good, you know what? I'm still not doing the job because it's stressful. Cause my attitude is damn a job title and damn a high income if I don't like the work I do and it stresses me out. And then again, maybe this woman had a very stressful job. And maybe the stress of that job could have took her out. No one knows because they're still investigating the situation. So whenever you guys get up every morning or whenever you go to work, if you're someone who's working a job and you don't like your job, let stories like this be a reminder that you need to immediately take steps to put yourself in a position to where you can work a job you like or at least tolerate. Because life is way too short to work a job you don't like. Life is way too short to basically live a lie. And for those of you that are in bad relationships, or for whatever, yeah, for those of you that are in bad relationships, again, maybe this woman could have been in a bad relationship and maybe that stressed her out. Who knows? But let stories like this also be a reminder that if you're in a bad relationship, you need to get out ASAP because that could stress people out as well. And obviously, we all need to, I would say most of us, myself included, needs to do a better job of self-care. Now, uh, as of yesterday, after taking a week off of the gym, as of yesterday, I went back to the gym and I'm working out again. I'm, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's hard to get healthy again because I love eating sweets. I love my cakes and my cookies and my candy. Now, for the last couple of days, I haven't been touching any of that type of stuff because I am seriously trying to get my health. I'm trying to get healthy again. So stories like this, that the video that you guys saw about that lady in Wells Fargo, let that video also be a reminder that it is vitally important that you always allow a block of time, even if it's only a half hour, to do some kind of self care. Keep your body up. I mean, again, I don't, no one knows. Well, at least we don't know whether she was in shape, whether she was heavy or whatever. None of us knows. And that's all I gotta say on this one. I don't really have much to say on this one. So hopefully, you guys allow that video to bring home the fact that you only got one life to live. It makes no sense to work. It makes no sense to spend your life working jobs you dislike, being in relationships that are bad for you, and also if you're not doing it already, it's very important that you allow a block of time each day for some form of self care. So on that note, if you like what I do, you can give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't done so, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. And on that note, stay blessed. Catch you guys on the next one.